high single. So again, I'll take one step forward and just shovel his leg towards the ceiling / shoulder area. And then I'll scoop as he's stepping, we scoop the leg. And then we can come down with control. If you want to come down with control, just squat when you finish, and you'll come down in the scenario where you're kind of in a leg drag, kind of in this scenario, but squat. So at the tail end of your finish, squat, which brings your training partner down, and it gives you that control. If I stay standing up and I bend my back, when he falls, it's a big potential that you're going to go flying over the top of him. If you just squat and bring him down by bending your legs, you'll stay in good control. So as he falls, you'll squat and you'll be right there in a potential passing scenario, potential leg scenario, or just in passing his open guard, which is more than likely, especially if he's pushing and recovering right away. But you have all those tools available just in case you want to start to drill that way. One more time. Again, pull on, we come up nice and tight on the leg. I come up high and my hip is underneath his leg. So again, in this scenario, we just take a forward step. I shovel so it makes him hop, and that's the time I want to pull the foot with my Achilles. So one more time, pull the foot, and then we squat here. And here's that scenario, right? I'm in leg drag. We're in if I really want to take some risk, I can fall back on the leg. That opposite leg may come over, but again, you're in great position. You were on the bottom, you came up on a quick single leg, and you're able to finish on a very basic single leg scenario, and that's a great time. Okay, I'll give you a second option when you get the leg up to the front. Just good to have more than one option. This is a fine option. It's going to give me access to the back of turtle. So when we have the leg up there to the front, maybe you can't always finish. Maybe this isn't working out and he's got it excessively. He's hopping around. His stance is a little bit wide. If you guys choose, I can now pin his ankle or his heel to my hip. I like to have a heel grip. This is a fine grip where you overwrap or overwrap the leg, but remember, we don't have shoes on, so sometimes without the shoes, if I overwrap, he can turn and kick out, and then you lose the foot. That does happen from time to time. Actually happens quite a bit. So we need to keep the foot in there. And that's why I really like the heel grip. I feel like it's a bit more stable than an overwrap, but they're all fine tools. When you're here on this finish, we're just gonna pin the heel to my hip, and then my hand is gonna go point to the floor, but I'm gonna circle back and squat. So there's a circle back and squat, and you have to be a little cautious with your training partner because it's gonna put a little pressure on the knee. That's sort of why Lance is gonna turn his knee and then the weight coming down puts his hands on the floor. That's basically, I'm trying to wrap his calf around my hip. And so I want to bend his knee around my body and then put weight down so his hands touch the mat. So as I circle back with my right leg, this hand, I'm going to start putting chest pressure into his knee, and then I'm going to squat, and it puts his hands on the floor, right? Once you're here, I just want to go get this far hip. And if I can keep this ankle, keep it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it behind his other foot. So as I circle, I'm going to put it down behind his other foot, and it's going to circle him into this type of scenario. Anytime we're in this type of scenario, begin thinking about breaking arms down. So get him grounded. If I can get a forearm or a shoulder on the mat, it's much more likely that I will control him and that he will start using more jiu-jitsu related escapes rather than wrestling related escapes, which is not a great thing, but it's going to keep him more grounded. And what I mean is he may start to look for turtle escapes. He may start to roll to the guard, and these things are going to keep him down. One of the most difficult things and things that you will need to start to really become efficient on if you're thinking about feet to floor is the transition from the feet to the floor in the nature of learning how to keep someone down. And sometimes it's not always going to put you in the best scenario. You might be passing guard, you may be in their half guard, but you have kept them down. And so this is one of those scenarios where if the hands are posted, break that hand down, begin driving them to their shoulder, and then you'll keep them down versus trying to throw hooks in very quickly, or thinking about taking the back too quickly and having them 4-point or return back to their feet. So again, we're here, elbow is deep under the knee. We're in the same position, his foot is in the front, and I'm trying to finish efficiently, but maybe that leg is just too far away, or I prefer this takedown a little bit better. Heel to hip, circle back, squat, put chest pressure into the knee, and then point to the mat, and then catch the knee, okay? And we squat. Once you're here, we're gonna go around the hip, so inside the leg or up near the hip. And then as I circle, I like to throw the leg behind him, and it whips his hip around. And this is typically the landing position that you're gonna get. So my right arm is in at the hip. This hand is a post hand, so I'm gonna start taking that away, and I'm gonna drive Lance towards where his base, he has no base, which is up towards the shoulder, not forward. So I wanna take him to where this arm would post out if it could. You'll notice if I take him that way, this arm could just, it could post out there. If I hold the arm, the wrist, and I drive him up, there's no post hand, and then we can collapse him. Now, if he does choose to post with this cross hand, then we just reverse directions and we just take him over the shoulder, and now we're ready to start taking the back, starting to go for katagatamis, things of this nature. So, and just keep that in mind when we're finishing there. When you take that foot and you whip it around, you'll most likely get the person to get to their hip. And it will be momentarily, but that's when we bring our elbow in the hip and we go after this far arm or this near arm, and then drive him over the post where the post arm would post up to his shoulder, and then you begin flattening him out. Of course, there are going to be situations where he may roll to the guard. We'll have to be prepared for that. We can actually flip him into Kimura, et cetera, which I can briefly go over at right now, but things to think about. So again, we're here. We have this finish. I circle back, I point to the mat, and I get his hip. Now, momentarily, you can do all sorts of things. There is also a strategy where I go knee, hip. Okay, if you don't need to do that, if you have the knee and you can get to the hip with this, great. Throw the leg behind you. Okay, throw the leg behind him rather. It sits him on his hip.